11.0 pre-orders leaked. 10.2 is the final patch of Dragonflight. At least that's what Doran says. And we all know he's a highly trusted source. So let's check out what he's talking about exactly here and whether or not 11.0 pre-orders have really been leaked.
A new PTR build just came out and the 11.0 pre-orders were just added to 10.1.7.
Oh, that's right. It was the Trader's Tender shit. Yes, the Trader's Tender. So if you don't know this, with the base edition, you're going to get 500. With the Heroic, you're going to get 750. And with the Epic edition of the next expansion, you're going to get 1,000 Trader's Tender. Blizzard cannot help themselves. They had to do this. They just had to.
Not only indicates that it is essentially confirmed that the next expansion will be announced for this year's BlizzCon, but also that 10.2 may be the final patch and there won't actually be any 10.3. However, it is likely that instead of
I don't think there'll be a 10.3. I think at a minimum we'll get a 10.2.5, which will be, what's it called? Oh my god, what faded rating. It'll be faded rating. You know, whatever faded rating was, it'll be the same thing, but for Dragonflight.
10.3, we may be getting the next expansion with all this culmination happening mid next year.
I think that's what will happen, Malden.
Early next year, and this could mean that not only we may not see Ridicron in this expansion and he may be moved to the next one, but all this big stuff that we're expecting to happen may be moved to 11.0. Additionally, we also have info for the new 10.2 PTR build. So what is all this stuff? What will the next expansion be about? When will it be announced? When will it be coming out?
It's going to be announced at BlizzCon.
All this new info? Did you know if you lose your wallet, you can use this little tracker to find it through the app? Best of all, extra this video sponsor has some really cool looking...
Where is Doran from? That's some interesting looking currency there. He's got to be from, like, you know, around the... I mean, he's definitely European.
Yeah. Best of all, extra this video sponsor has some really cool looking wallets. They got so many styles to choose from with premium leather and space grade aluminum. You got amazing key cases, also with trackers, and you got 12 months warranty. So make sure to check out my link in the description and use code DORAN and get up to 25% discount. Check out Xter. So honestly, this came as a little bit of a shock because most of us were expecting that 10.2 is going to be like one of the filler patches and then 10.3 is going to be the big stuff that will be happening because 10.2 is probably going to be about the Emerald Dream. And this,
I mean, if you look at the map of how they laid out the patches, 10.2 was the last one. Like I said, maybe we get a 0.5 faded rating patch, but I never really thought we were going to get a 0.3, and it doesn't look like as pacing is going here that we're going to.
Came out of nowhere. However, there was actually no official post, no blue post. This kind of slipped under the radar as we have data mined some stuff in the newest build. However, this is
last
essentially
one of the
how
year, maybe that's why maybe.
Prior to release the expansion, we just data mine some strings, and then new expansions are data mined. I mean, that is essentially how we discovered the past few. 10.1.7 is coming out on the
that's the play. That's the what's it called? Like the patch layout that they gave us, and everything has actually been on point. Like in terms of this layout, they have done it exactly. There's not been any delays in the spring, winter, summer. Like they have been on point with this shit. We're gonna get Fury Incarnate. They've already said that 10.1.7 is coming out on September 5th, so it is coming out in the fall. And then the last thing will be the 10.2, based on this map. Maybe, like you said, that's just supposed to mark the end of the year, and that's why the map stops here. But I think it's because it's the end of the expansion, actually, and that's it.
Is coming out on the 5th of September, as you may know, so essentially a week from this video. And honestly, I was a little bit shocked at first because why was this 10th?
I thought September
so
5th.
encrypted? It's essentially just a minor filler
I'm right.
patch.
I'll look
it's
it
not
up,
even 10.1.5, it's 1.7. And this now starts to make a lot more sense. If 10.2 really is the final patch, it makes more sense that some big stuff may be happening in this one, and that is why they encrypted all this stuff. If 10.2 really is the final patch, it is likely that we might get 10.2.5, which could be like some filler content.
Yeah,
but
faded
really,
rating.
so far with all this info, it doesn't seem like 10.3 will be happening anytime soon.
Yeah,
why am I saying all this stuff? I'm not just making this up. A few days ago in the 10.1.7 PTR build, we have data mined 3 feats of strength achievements, which essentially completely confirms that the 11.0 will be happening. It is essentially just tender shop stuff that you get for the Epic, the Heroic Edition, the base edition. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the tender shop and all this stuff they're doing. It's really a little bit of like a mobile game, but
I thought the tender shop was a great thing when they added to the game. Not the tender shop, but what's it called? The Trader's Post. I thought the Trader's Post was great. It was like a nice way to, you know, keep the loyalty going. It was it was an add-on to your current sub payment. Like it was something that didn't exist before, and then it became an added benefit of your sub. But slowly but surely, you guys remember with the little corsage thing where they included some Trader's Tender, and now the next expansion, they're starting to try to monetize it. And that kind of sucks because originally it was like just this way to get shit from the that was like once on the store or only ever available on the store and get it into the game, into the players' hands who love playing the game and play a lot and never wanted to spend in the store. It was another way to get stuff like that. Now it's becoming just another store thing, unfortunately. Bobby needs another bow.
Sense with expansions, like with different tiers that you buy, but we did get this added in the newest build. Now 11.0 being confirmed is not really that much of a shock.
I have a whole
we know
video on my
Chris
YouTube
Metzen
channel that
is
talks about
returning.
that.
We have
Trader's
all this
Tender shit.
data mine stuff for the next expansion. The 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft will be happening next year, so obviously it makes sense for them to come up with some big expansion. However, the actual timing of this has a lot of implications because it could show us how Dragonflight will end, when it will end, and what will be happening with the main storyline. The fact that this pre-order info came out in 10.1.7 and not 10.2 almost certainly confirms that there won't be any 10.3, and
yeah,
honestly,
I agree with
this
that.
perfectly aligns with these things that Blizzard has been talking about for years, but it looks like finally they may actually be implementing this stuff. I don't know how many of you guys remember the interviews from a few years back. They all constantly talked about how they want to do these yearly expansions, they want to push the schedule, they never really did it. But you might have noticed in Dragonflight they really just went crazy on all this stuff with the patches. It's essentially coming out every 2 months. We got like a million small patches. Now, prior to Dragonflight release,
the patch cadence is really good.
And honestly, so far it really seems like they're actually following everything they're talking about.
Yep.
Previously, the big problem was that they had these expansions that was essentially just one-off things. So they built the garrisons were abandoned. They had the Cataclysm Deathwing that was abandoned. Then we had the Legion that was abandoned. So we had a lot of these problems.
There was a lot of also player power progression that was just like built up in an expansion and then abandoned. And you always felt like whatever progress you made in the previous expansion was just being deleted from the game. I mean, Legion Legendaries were the first big example of that. But it had been existing for quite a while, and they promised us that now that's not going to happen anymore. That these systems are going to be built with long-term goals in mind, and they've been doing that actually. Dragon riding in the past probably would have been just a Dragonflight expansion thing, but you can already tell from like data mine stuff that this will be continuing on into future expansions, and that's what you want to see in an MMO. You don't want to see progress just deleted. That's never a good feeling. Course, yeah,
where they build one thing, they discard it, they build another thing, they discard it. So they said that the patches will be a lot more seamless. Expansions will essentially end up like these
build on each other.
Big patches, and every expansion will add on to one another.
Yeah.
And with the way things are going on with Dragonflight, it looks like that may finally be happening. So, no Iridicron, big bad guy for this expansion. He may actually be going into the next one unless we actually kill him by the end. This means
I
that the big
don't think he'll make it to the next
patch that
expansion.
we've all been speculating about, the big finale, will actually be just the next expansion, and the combination will just be moved into the next one. It is possible that Dragonflight will have no crazy, like, big villain actually happen. Now, the reason I'm saying all this stuff
I
is
think
because
we will get Iridicron as a big villain, but we'll find out he's not actually the big villain. And it'll continue on from there in that way.
we have data mine more info other than the actual pre-orders, and that is that 10.2 PTR build encrypted one just came out, which means that it is a little bit crazy because 10.1.7 isn't even out, and it could mean that something could be happening with 10.2. It could either come out before or after BlizzCon, but personally, with the way things are going, I could either see it coming a few days before BlizzCon, and then like the final boss fight, the final expansion, like the fight will be shown on BlizzCon, and then the new expansion will come out. Or it is also possible that the new cinematic will be shown a few days prior, so that we can kind of, you know, hype up the stuff for the 11.0 announcement. Now, what does all this mean? Like, what is coming next? Who are we dealing with? How is it going to end? If you guys may remember, in 10.1, they said that we will be dealing with the black and the blue Dragonflight. We have obviously dealt with them. 10.2, they said it will be about the bronze and the green. We already kind of dealt with the bronze. It's not really finished, but
the green story is going to continue in 10.1.7.
And the green Dragonflight is obviously going to be the theme of 10.2. I mean, we have literally data mined Emerald Dream background.
Well,
it's not just
but 10.1.7 is going to give us the dream surges and shit. So that's where the start of the green story really begins. Like, we're going to dive into it.
We have a bunch of other hints, but we have data mined an item called the Emerald Dream Quest background. However, I think the Farak stuff may actually be happening in 10.1.7, which which is why they encrypted it, and then we could be dealing with Iridicron and the big stuff in 10.2, and this way some big things could be happening. It could involve Iridicron, we could be dealing with Zelatat, and we could be doing a whole bunch of stuff in 10.2, which is why we don't really know anything about it so far. By pretty much all the current hints of the next expansion, we know that the Void is returning in some way, shape, or form. We have Ashara coming in from the Whale of the Void, we have Zelatat, Avaloran, all these crazy things. Avaloran is even really interesting because we have this entire Titan Forged information about them actually coming. We have Uldas, we have all this stuff with the new continent. If 10.2 is about the Emerald Dream, I can't really see them adding a completely new continent, Avaloran, this new Titan facility, in the next patch together with the Emerald Dream.
No, it's not patch, that'll be the next expansion.
Dream, which could mean that all this stuff is actually the setup for the next expansion.
Yeah.
Additionally, we have hints of Troll. Chris Messing has returned. We know Troll is essentially like his avatar, so Troll will be probably super important in the next expansion. Most importantly, we have all these hints of the Titans returning. We have this Titan Forge hints. We have the very likelihood of Iridicron baiting the actual Titans to return. We have the possibility of Alexstrasza actually betraying the Titans, realizing that they're not really so nice. We could see the World Soul. Iridicron could do something with the World Soul. We could finally get a glimpse of it before the expansion ends. It is also possible that Iridicron could be the final bad guy, but personally, I still think he might be the focus. He's gonna be the guy that is going to put things into motion. I could even see us actually killing him. I don't think he really cares about becoming like a new Sargeras, some crazy powerful being. I think he just wants to burn everything.
He wants to fuck the Titans up. That's what he wants. He wants to fuck up Azeroth so bad that he brings the Titans down, and when they come down, he's about to fist them. Yeah, you heard me right. Not fisticuffs, fist them. That's what he wants. He wants to completely rip them apart from the inside out.
The Titans have built, so he could likely
He's an angry man.
Be the end boss of this expansion, and then he could just set things in motion for the next one. With the dragons, we could expect a big culmination because the book is going to come out that explains the relationship, Viranaut, and all this stuff, and everything could be tied into it. However, if all this stuff is happening, when could we actually be seeing 11.0? What could be the actual release date? Well, we know that on November 2024 is the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft, so that would be like the perfect date. However, personally, I think that is a little bit too long of a wait. I could see 10.2.5 happening, being some sort of a filler patch, but I don't really see them doing like one half patch before the next expansion. With the way Dragonflight worked, I could see it happening early, like the spring or early summer. Essentially, Dragonflight came out like 6 months after it was announced.
They're gonna announce the expansion at BlizzCon, obviously, but I thought they would also get into what's it called, 10.2.3 or 10.2 content. Tickets on sale. When the hell is it? Date. Let me see. Because it does affect November 3rd and 4th. Yeah, so BlizzCon's going to happen. I'm sure they're going to talk about 10.2. That makes sense, actually. September, October, maybe? They'll be talking about the next expansion, mainly. It won't be about 10.2. But maybe they could announce it there, and then we get the patch that week. It's going to be late October, early November.
Alpha came out super quick as
that
well.
That makes sense.
So something could be happening with
for
that.
10.
Maybe 10.2.5 could be like a filler where we could tie up some loose ends.
Faded
we could get
rating.
some slight revamps of some older zones.
That would
maybe
be
something with the
10.2.5.
Forsaken, something with the Eastern Kingdoms. However, we don't really know what 10.2 is going to be about, so it is really hard to predict when it could be happening, what could be happening. But I could definitely see like a 6-month release after the BlizzCon announcement. Thank you for watching. Check out who could be the final boss of Dragonflight by clicking on the screen, and check out my second channel for videos on Slavic mythology and The Witcher. See you guys next time.
Oh, he's Slavic. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, all right. It's pretty good predictions. Pretty good predictions. Believe it or not, this is one of the less out there speculative Doran videos. He's right. The 10.2, the 11.0 pre-order stuff was leaked. It is in fact true with the Trader's Tender stuff, and most likely. The way I see the timing working out is late October, early November, we get 10.2. We go into BlizzCon, and it's either about some 10.2 stuff and the expansion, or it's going to be mostly about the expansion. And the expansion will be coming out sometime next year. I mean, that's not, I'm giving a big date range on that. But that's what I see. I don't see a 10.3 happening. And if anything, we'll get a 10.2.5 faded rating patch.